Closing arguments in the Derek Chauvin trial will be coming tomorrow. The trial has been one of the closest watched in decades. It's also stirred up renewed emotions from the George Floyd murder, especially in the wake of recent police violence. Fox 61's Dave Puglisi was at a rally in New Haven today where protesters took to the streets. He is live at the state capitol with more. Dave?
Carmen, here on Friday at the Capitol, there was another rally calling for an end to police violence. Today in New Haven, people took to the streets calling for the same. It's recent violence against the black and brown community sparking the renewed call.
I am tired of watching black and brown people be killed, slaughtered like animals.
The emotions are easy to hear in the voice of Gianna Bethia.
I'm speaking up for Breonna Taylor, who did not get justice for her murder. She was murdered and she does not receive any justice.
For Bethia and the dozens of others who took to the streets in New Haven, the emotions are still raw from the summer's killing of George Floyd. His accused murderer, Derek Chauvin, standing trial for placing a knee on Floyd's neck for over 9 minutes. The trial and recent police-involved shootings of Dante Wright and Adam Toledo sparking renewed calls for defunding the police.
We need to divest that money that we put into keeping us safe and put them into the education system. Put that into extracurriculars, affordable housing, affordable health care.
The march went from New Haven City Hall to the Yale Police Department, where calls to disarm and dismantle the department were made.
The Yale Police doesn't make me feel safe. They don't make my loved ones feel safe. And there's no level of safety, imagined or real, of any person or any group of people that justifies the endangerment and the harm of other groups.
In February, Yale Police Chief Ronell Higgins spoke to improving police measures during a student-led panel discussion. He talked of new bias training being given to officers and the addition of 2 plainclothed officers to respond to mental health calls. Although those who called for their dismantling feel they only contribute to the institutionalized racism and creating barriers that protect what they called the elite from the community.
This rhetoric of protecting against crime, protecting against a big, bad, dangerous city doesn't exist.
Our jury deliberations are set to begin this week for the Chauvin trial. Cities across the country are already preparing for potential protests pending the outcome. We also reached out to Yale Police for a statement in regards to some of the things mentioned today, but we have not heard back yet. In Hartford, Dave Puglisi, Fox 61 News.
Dave, thank you. And